Hello, everyone. In this opportunity, we're going to present about the car industry pandemic. The members of the group are Morales APAZA ESTEFANNY, REYES FLORES REUBEN, and who is speaking, Falconí ALVARADO Camila. As everyone knows, the coronavirus pandemic has brought the global economy to its knees, and so many enterprises had been closed due to the lockdown measures restricting its movements, but there are some others that those measures have helped them to prosper, as for this case, the car industry. In this opportunity, we're going to explain how the global pandemic affected the automotive brands such as Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a swift and severe impact on the globally integrated automotive industry. Symptoms include a disruption in Japanese part exports, large-scale manufacturing interruptions across Europe, and the closure of assembly plants in the United States. The project aims to better understand why an enterprise such as Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford have survived the coronavirus pandemic, even when it had thought that they could go to a bankrupt. It will identify the most significant factors about how it happened, the demand and supply, and how its experience can be useful for other enterprises, helping them in future similar situations. About empirical evidence, when pandemic started, many countries were in quarantine and nobody could leave their homes, only to buy food. In this sense, suddenly everything went quiet. The freeways, the factories, the showrooms, the automobile world was paralyzed. Analyzing which car brands were the most affected worldwide, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford stand out because they are the leading brands in the segment by the number of units sold. According to Statista, the Japanese brand, Toyota, commercialized 8.6 million in 2019. The German brand, Volkswagen, sold 6.4 million of vehicles, and the US brand, Ford, with 4.7 million of cars. The car industry also has been the protagonist of other news about other car brands such as Renault, which announced that it will cut around 50,000 jobs and reduce production amid falling car sales. Other news can be that because of low demand, some of the main car shows were canceled, as is in the case in New York, Geneva, Paris, among others. On the other hand, we can affirm that 2020 has been the year of no fun, but at the same time, at a certain point, people were buying their dream cars because they did not know what could happen the day after. That made everything change and improve in the car industry. At the same time, as car buyers were increasing, car manufacturers were exporting a large number of vehicles. Now, in 2021, 1 year later, the demand is almost normal. With respect to theory, how it is noticed, the global pandemic generated by COVID-19 has exposed several challenges for the automotive sector, especially for Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford. Like it was said before, those brands were the ones that were the most affected. A sample of the bad moments those cars brands had in 2020 can be, for example, when Toyota informed that their sales in USA decreased 54% in April. In addition to this, Toyota sold 271,927 vehicles between January and March of 2020 in Europe, what means a sales decrease of 2.45%. Also, it must be said that most of the European plants suspended their manufacturing a few days at the beginning of March. Relative to Volkswagen, their world sales decreased approximately 34% in May because of the pandemic effects, and in the accumulated of the year until May, 3.08 million of vehicles were sold, which means a decrease of about 29.7% in comparison with the amount sold in 2019, that was of 4.59 million of vehicles. Analyzing the Ford case, this brand being one of the most important around the world, had to reduce their manufacturing approximately 100 units per day because of the pandemic effects. According to Autocosmos page, the amount of capitalization that those brands lost due pandemic and caused the cessation of production for a few weeks are the following. Toyota lost 15,100 millions in market capitalizations in 2020. Meanwhile, Volkswagen saw its market capitalization fell down in 70 billions in 2020. Following the tendency, Ford lost 10 billions. Even though Toyota was the brand who lost a major amount of money, it has regained its status as the world's largest car manufacturer, closing the 2020 with 9.5 million of unit sales. To restart activity and the sales, the companies had to carry out various measures and protocols. Following that, in Toyota's case, they applied some new ideas to try to restart the sales. One of them was to support entrepreneurs in the difficult economic situation caused by the pandemic, offering accessible financing plans and the opportunity to leave the customer's used car as part of payment. All this as part of the Toyota's life structure. About the general objective of our study, we are going to explain how the pandemic affected the car industry in 2020. And about specific objectives, we are going to demonstrate how the car industry survived the pandemic and about a statistical analysis between Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford during pandemic.
I am going to talk about the method. The method REYES type analysis. Type analysis of the investigation as a type of the REYES that will be used in the project is analysis carried of the very different scenarios that occurred in the pandemic, what are respect to the automobile industry that has been affected to worldwide, in especially the Toyota Volkswagen and for I-29. For these are different files, documents, newspaper, and websites were used in the order to have details in the conscious information. Face-to-face investigation with a direct contact helps is applied to the event. Likewise, the level of the risk applying to the study in discretion, since a percentage are defined and identified worldwide a loss present. Asking of the type of risk, we apply the analysis method since it is used for the global analysis of the problem present. The data is collected of the order to the precious conclusions in a audition to the of the state financial for 22 if the use and have a rich design. A rich design we have the global structure of the automobile state after the quarantine event. And while the closure of the branch of reference plan was started in the order to inscribe for buy. For this is what very fixed during the creation of this page, where the customer could buy vehicles and quality. But inside, the present study attempts to analyze the determination of the brand and the truth trend is the automobile industry. Checking turns a casual model the relationship between a main barrier, the pricing a consumer choose and loader to wear and car brand. As first step to achieve this study, that is a collection on the automobile industry in Chile, in the order of definite dream. Work and race in silence, being a Chile's model, relationship economics barriers, among of the order interesting results. We fall in the theme of the high relation automobile, industrial, and economic barriers. Then we means of the construction of the survey in these baskets by a socioeconomics group the total of the responsible amount. The beginning of the customization of the server is a software testing that sleep process begins. The making of the code. Rich instruments. In introduction to that portable instrumentation that meet the needs of the automobile industry for interior and exterior measures. A tool in a special mode is a meant in the conic version of the metallic and the plasma plate on the storage vehicle. By introducing the high-quality instruments consisting while the benefits of the scratch productive and reduced costs. Data collection products. Among the most used instruments in the questionnaire in the Scales Guide toward the work in the employee of the automobile industry, the internet in the mobile technology are in the increasing shape the automobile manufacturing industry. Digitalization of the early change so the work in the world of passing another significant change. A new revolution in a manufacturing in the school industrial for P and I. Analysis plan. According to analysis plan, the spread of the opportunity, weekends and the threats are more to the industrial corporation the opportunities in the strange instability. North American economics the oriented automobile industry for and of, and the connection trends digitalization and the electrification of the sector. There are also that should in the midst of policy of information of car and out. United States in the white in the demand of vehicle and hydrogen. The stages are based on the product culture of innovative ability of the installation capacity. Personnel in the production process and effort in the differentiation and customization of the output according to SMART. And weakens a fragment organization structure is observed. The investment made in the air indeed are efficiencies only during a period of time. And in quantity implementation of the strategy is a company.
Hello, my name is REUBEN as in REYES FLORES. My first slide says the auto industry. The auto industry is one of the most important industry in the United States. It's America's largest export. It has contributed 3.5% to GDP, gross domestic product. This industry generates millions of jobs around the world, thousands of assembly plants, billions of dollars in steel, glass, rubber, iron, and semiconductors each year. Slide number 2. Results. COVID-19 more than only a global pandemic and public health crisis. COVID-19 made an impact against to the global economy and financial markets. As we all know, this pandemic has caused reductions in income and increase of unemployment. Quantity produced has decreased, and GDP real has become negative, as well as many industries. The automotive industry was impacted very much by COVID-19. Slide number 3. Auto industry declined, but it's recovering. In 2019, light vehicle production was about 89 million units. Vehicle production decreased about 20% in 2020. There is in optimist projections that the car's productions will grow 40%, 14% this year, 2021, in China, Europe, and North America. Also, the demand of parts and tires will increase. We are ready to rock 2021. David Creeds, Toyota Motors North American Group's based president, said, "I am as optimistic as one can be." Volkswagen of American chief executive said. Slide number 4. Consumers' behavior has changed, industry has to be adapted. It will be crucial to stay close to the trends. It is important for the auto industry to understand how consumer preferences have changed. More people prefer to buy a car virtually. People prefer to use their own cars. After pandemic, people avoid to use taxi or public transportation. This increased the demand and supply of cars. Electrical cars is alternative. Only 12% of customers wants to. The customers are concerned about how to change their cars. Next